Hi, my name is Andrew, and this is my individual project. So when I think about collaboration, I think about someone other than just one person. So if you're working within a group or just a partner, and you guys are creating something, like a design, a piece of artwork, a project. So my first or second little thingy here is my example is marching band. So I've been in marching band for quite a few years now, and there are so many people that make a production happen. You have the director, you have the color guard directors, and there's different people within that group for different equipment. There's a front ensemble, there's a battery, there's winds, there's brass, there's a visual director. So all these people have to work together and collaborate to get a production out on the field. And it's not just these directors and coaches, it's also the performers that have to collaborate and relay information on, is this working, is this not, is there something that needs to be fixed? And they need to relay that information to the directors or the coaches. So it takes the entire staff and performers to get a marching show on the field. So my next point here is bouncing ideas. When you're in a collaboration group, bouncing ideas off of each other is important, because one person may come up with an idea and it just sparks some other people's ideas, and then you just start going on a tangent or down a path about this one thing, and it all just started with a bounce of an idea. And the next little point here is different ideas. People are going to have different ideas, and that is okay. People have the right to have different opinions. That is what makes collaboration so important, is that you get to hear what different people think about. So what someone over here may think about, for let's go back to the marching band, is a uniform. We'll talk about our uniform. So someone over here likes a sequence on the neck, or like a little, maybe a little bit of a design over here, something like that. And then someone sitting over here doesn't really agree with that. And so now you guys have different opinions, but now you got to come together to find a common ground. So say we want to maybe have not as much of the whole collar sequenced, but maybe just a few sequence within, and then tie in a design to cover out that blank space. So that could be a common ground that both of you decide on. And my final point is collaboration is a good skill to have. I believe collaboration is a huge skill that people need to have. I believe I have used collaboration every day in my life, especially in high school when I was on many leadership roles and captain on my sports teams. Here at JU, I'm on the cross country and track team. And I have to relay information to my coach, or some of the teammates have information. I have to relay that information back to them if I find an answer to it. If something comes up, I have to relay and communicate with whoever I need to. And it's just a really good skill to have. Having that public speaking, one-on-one conversation, those public speaking skills are important. And I think, even if you aren't someone who likes to talk to people or be in group work, I think, it's okay. You don't always have to have that collaboration environment, but especially if you're going into a job that, like nursing, engineering, construction, I'm going into marine biology, and I'm going to have to use that within my field. I'm going to have to communicate with people to give me money to do my research. I'm going to have to talk to government officials about why this needs to happen, and here are some situations that can help. So collaboration is big part of something that you should have as a skill. So thank you.
Hi, my name is Andrew Blanchett, and this is part 2 of my independent project. So I will be talking about managing the writing process. So managing the writing process, we're going to start off with habits. So we all have habits when we're writing an essay. We have habits before and during when we're writing. So habits before is kind of maybe creating a list. So taking the steps of what you want in your essay, or kind of like a little bit of an outline during an essay. If you like to play music, if you like to just play classical music, if you like have a special corner you like to listen to your music in, if you like have a space or like a certain lighting that you like, if you like to, sit, in a dark room with your computer and type your essay, or if you like to be outside, anything like that. Those are habits that you like. That is where you like to write your essay. That is like your thought time, your thought process, and that is how you can get your essay done and written. And then my next point is your writing process. So within the writing process, we have understanding. So you have to be able to understand what you're writing about. If you do not understand what you're writing about, you are going to have a very hard time writing your essay. So being able to know what your essay is about, going through, if your professor or your teacher has kind of like a little bit of an outline of what they want within your essay, maybe before you start writing it, go off to your habits and write maybe a little bit of a check mark box where you write it down, you look at each one, and then you can like check it off. Be able to figure out some way where you can understand what you're writing about. So my next thing is topic. What is your topic going to be about? Having a topic is important as well. This is going to also help you understand what you're going to write about. So is it a research paper? Is it a argumentative paper? Is it just a little fun write paper? So figuring out what type of paper or topic you're doing your essay on is important as well, because that's going to allow you to figure out and brainstorm what you are going to then write about in the body paragraph. And so moving on to rhetorical situations. Sorry if I get that wrong. It's hard for me to pronounce it. But within that, I have audience. So what is your audience? Who is going to read your essay? Is it your professor, your teacher, your friend, your family member, a complete stranger? Who is that? And that is what you should kind of gear your essay or your writing towards. So make it interesting for them. So if your target audience is people who like sports, well, can you insert maybe a little bit of, if you're writing and maybe give a example of a reference to like some sports area in it. Or if you have people who love nature, maybe insert a little bit about nature within your writing. The next point is purpose. What is the purpose of your essay? Why are you writing this? What are you going to be writing about? What are you trying to prove? What are you portraying to your audience? And my next one is stance. So it's kind of obvious. Are you for or are you against? I like the Hamilton musical, the reference. Are you for or are you against? It's kind of self-explanatory. You want to, if it's more of a argumentative essay, within that you want to be able to say, I am for this or I am against this, and here's why. And then we have genre. So what type of essay are you writing? Is it research? Is it, or even a little book or a fun little writing assignment thing? Is it a nonfiction? Is it an adventure? Is it a horror? What is your genre of writing that you're supposed to be doing? The next thing is medium and design. So as a film and photographer, I think of this as, what can I create? So if I take a picture, what is that picture going to tell people? What is that film going to portray, or what are people going to see when they see the film? So something I think about when I'm writing, or when you're writing, is as someone is reading your essay or story, if they close their eyes, or if they're just reading it, can they depict in their head an image of what you're trying to say or what you're trying to write about? Can they tell the story within their head as they're reading through what you wrote? And then the last thing is context. There are some other people that have the same ideas, or do people have opposite opinions about what you're writing? And this is kind of more of a argumentative essay. So is there articles from someone else out there that say, I don't agree with what you're saying about, or can you find someone that does agree with what you just wrote? So thank you.
Hey guys, my name is Dylan Brand, and I am doing the Need for Collaboration, pages 123 through 126. So yeah, I'll present that to you. Alright, let's get started. What is collaboration? Well, let's start with the definition. To work jointly with others or together, especially in an intellectual setting. Okay? According to Merriam-Webster. My collaboration experiences, well, I use it for school projects, essays. I mean, when you do essays, I need people to revise and edit my essay so I can get the different perspectives so they can make my essay even stronger. Okay? I used to play football. I mean, that's a team sport. I mean, you have to do the art. It's like teamwork. You have to make sure everyone's doing their role, so therefore you can win the game. Also, life at home. I mean, there's chores that got to get done, and I got to collaborate with my family to make sure that all those chores are getting done. So like, who does what chore, or who needs to help this person with this chore so it can get done faster, that type of thing. So now we can move down to the purpose of collaboration. It's basically to bring together ideas. As Henry Jenkins said, as a quote is, a world where no one knows everything, but everyone knows something. So that's basically the world we live in, and no one knows everything, but at least somebody, there's always someone that knows something. So when you bring all those type of ideas and knowledge together, you create one big superplex of like just a whole bunch of ideas, and that can make us just much smarter as just a human species. So this is what I like to call idea sharing, and yeah, this is exactly why we share ideas, is so we can be more informed versus just thinking what you know and already know. So, and then yeah, so that brings me down to like one of my favorite quotes by Henry Ford is, coming together is a beginning, staying together is progress, and working together is success. So that's a great quote by him. And so yeah, and he was a big collaborator, of course. And so yeah, collaboration in writing. So what does collaboration do for writing? Well, it makes writing, first off, more accurate. It's more fun when you're doing it with people, and it's also more interesting. So this is, a lot of times writers don't write alone because of these reasons. I mean, right, when people read, an excerpt or writing, they want it to be interesting, they want it to be fun, they want it to be knowledgeable. When one person does that, it doesn't meet or do nearly as good as those things as it would be with a whole bunch of people collaborating on one piece of writing. So yeah, it makes writing easier as well. I mean, when the more people doing the same amount of work, there's less work for you to do, so therefore it's easier. I mean, it doesn't get more simple than that. I mean, think about the different perspectives that you can put into writing when everyone's collaborating. I mean, once again, it comes back to idea sharing. Is when people share all their ideas and put it into one, piece of paper or writing, then that writing is more interesting and you get a whole bunch of different perspectives, and also, like I said, makes it more accurate. So how can you use collaboration in your own writing? I mean, we do essays all the time in this class and maybe other classes. I mean, I have to do essays in other classes as well. So how can you use it? How can I use it? Well, I use it by doing like peer reviews. People can look at my writing and then they can critique, make edits, and even add their own perspectives. So therefore, it's just a better piece in general. And yeah, that makes my writing more interesting, and it obviously makes my life easier. So therefore, I don't have to worry about like me missing something or something else, because that way someone has already reviewed it. So yeah, that's how we can use collaboration in our own writing. Now let's think about collaboration in the modern age. So back in the day, we used newspapers, but now we use more things like social media and other sites to basically give out the news. And typically what happens is with these social media sites is a whole bunch of different people are putting in the news that they know of and putting it together in one social media page, and all that goes together to make one big news story. So that's how we tend to do news nowadays versus a newspaper, and people collaborate together on a social media page to make it, a strong, good page of a whole bunch of different information for us to see, rather than just it being one newspaper and people, just seeing that. So it makes it a lot more accurate and engaging. Modern video games now are a lot more collaborative. I mean, modern video games use teams to collaborate and stuff like that. So think about Fortnite. I mean, Fortnite is a collaborative game, and where people get together in teams or duos or whatever to go into a battle and try to win the game overall. So, I mean, that's a form of collaboration that we use in Fortnite. I mean, another game is World Without Oil. I mean, it's practically impossible for us to play the game World Without Oil on our own, as we need to collaborate with different people to try to figure out the oil crisis, to figure out a world that can work without oil. So it's, again, another collaborative game that we use in the modern age. And this differs from older games, as older games use things what we call campaigns, where you just play the game on your own and you have to figure out to go through different stages to win the game. So this makes games a lot more interesting, more fun, just like it does in writing. And yeah, that's why modern games tend to be a lot more collaborative nowadays. We can also think about sites like Wikipedia. Wikipedia is basically a informational, encyclopedia, but it's a whole bunch of different authors that collaborate onto one page, and they basically have, their own piece of information on story or history that they know of, and they collaborate with other authors, and they each put in their own piece of information to make, again, one big story. And that makes it a lot more informative rather than just one piece of information that one person knows. So that's why Wikipedia is another big popular one nowadays. You also have to think about what are flash mobs? flash mob is a relatively new term that we use nowadays, but it's basically a group of people that suddenly collaborate to basically fight for a cause or to celebrate. So, like, for example, you get like a flash mob of people that are trying to fight for women's rights or something like that, or they're trying to celebrate, rights that they won over from the government or something like that. So that's how we use collaboration in the modern age. And overall, let's just talk about my take on collaboration. I mean, hold on, give me one moment. So yeah, I mean, I've always found collaboration very intriguing and interesting to me, and it makes me reading this article or page on this book also has basically forced me to reflect on how the world operates. I mean, think about world trade. I mean, it's just a very precise, fragile thing that we use nowadays, but it also, because basically countries import and export supplies and things that they have they basically import these things so they can get these supplies that they need to survive and operate as a stronger country, and then they also export supplies that they already have to other countries that need it. So it's basically this fine balance of countries helping each other out and getting in return hope for themselves from those countries. Think about sports. I like to think about how most sports nowadays are all team games, which involves collaboration, obviously. Like I said, I played football. Soccer is a team game. It's just, the list, curling, I mean, the list goes on and on and on how sports are typically a team game, and that involves collaboration in order to win. So, and also think about, like, earlier this year, I mean, Russia basically cut off giving oil to us, exporting oil to us, the USA, and other countries, and just think about how that affected our gas prices and how that affected our economy. I mean, gas prices just went through the roof, and things are still expensive nowadays. And it's all about supply and demand, and we have less supply but the same amount of demand of oil, and so therefore those gas prices get shot up. So I mean, it just shows you how important it is for other countries to collaborate, and when one country cuts off from the rest, how much that can affect other countries. So it's really important. Also, I mean, just think about it. You need to use collaboration correctly. I think if we use collaboration correctly, and if we can all collaborate into one, strong masterpiece, I mean, then it's an extremely powerful weapon we can use as humans. I mean, because that way, again, it all comes down to idea sharing and everything. There's a lot more information, and it's a team game, and that will make us humans much stronger. So I think collaboration is great, and we can use it to our advantage if we can. That's my presentation on collaboration. Thank you for joining me. And here's my works cited. Thank you all.
Hi, my name is Tiana Carter, and I have the need for collaboration. The need for collaboration is definitely important to be able to develop, create, and explore ideas. It is needed in every aspect of writing and in your everyday life. First, collaborating as a student, we have idea engagement with others, engagement with teachers and other students, because you are a student, is very important to be able to express your ideas. For example, a group project, being able to talk to your teacher to know the basis of, what you need to accomplish. And if you're working in a group with other students, knowing and delegating responsibilities and exploring ideas of, how you're going to approach the group project. Next, we have responsive views. This basically means present your own views, because you do have a voice, and to be able to add your voice to the conversation of other people's ideas. Again, responding to other people's views with your voice. Last is online contribution. Social media is a big platform, whether it's TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, any type of platform. Collaborations are essential to grow one's platform, and you can also get insight on how to engage your audience and how to communicate effectively with other individuals across the world. Next, we have collaborating with a writing tutor. With that, consultation with the tutor, just having the courage to go get help, knowing that you need help, just to make your writing better. That's very hard for some people, to step up to that. So it's good that you're willing to collaborate. And on top of that, they're there to help, and usually they're trained, so no bad ideas are going to be given to you. Second is preparation for consultation. Always be prepared. Know what you are looking to fix in your writing, what you have questions about, and what you want to change. Don't go in there, not knowing what you want to do. Just go in there with an open mind and be ready to work and collaborate. Last is discussion of ideas. It is a discussion, so be open to new ideas with your work. They're not there just to criticize your work or saying it's bad. They're there to help you. The session is to collaborate, so take notes during your discussions so you can utilize the help that they have given you. Next, we have collaboration at work. First is communicate with others. With that, you're going to have to communicate with others in a working environment also. You'll never get out of, not collaborating with somebody. So it's just like being a student, because you have work that is split in the business, and it takes the whole business to solve, the problem. So all in all, it's collaboration. So you have to communicate with others regardless. Next is global communication. In this regards, it's kind of talking about telecommunication. You need to be able to communicate even when you're working at home, which includes global conference calls to involve your input, because the problem still has to be fixed no matter, where you're at, just because y'all aren't in a centralized business area to collaborate. Last is teamwork. Teamwork you can prepare for while we're in college now, by engaging opportunities with different people that are different from you, because you're preparing for the future. It's very much preparation for the future. Lastly, we have collaborating effectively. Some tips for collaborating effectively. First is establish organization and have a plan. Organize collaborations and take notes. Maintain records so that no ideas goes lost. Nobody's unheard. Plan out where and how the group will meet and responsibilities among the group. Next is be open to new ideas and socialization. Consider opinions and ideas of everyone. Get to know the people you're going to be working with to establish, that trust and comfort. Lastly is receptive listening / understanding to avoid problems. Respect what others have to say, even if you don't agree, because everyone has a reason to why they think the way they do. Find a way to handle conflicts in a nonviolent way and be able to work through conflict. That's really, what all collaboration is about.
Hello, my name is Jessalyn Almonte. I did my PowerPoint on the need for collaboration, pages 123 through 126. Today is August 20th, 2022, and I'll get started. So for my first slide, I talked about social networking. So basically, it's like another term for social media. So most writers and journalists, for example, they write most of their stories and essays and all that stuff on social media. So there they can share it with others. A good example would be Wikipedia. They share and spread their ideas, and that's where other people can go on the site, read others, and learn and obtain new information. And yeah. This is a picture basically, so it's representing kind of technology, sort of. So here is research. So basically, you find new information can be difficult. Sometimes people depend on others for assistance. So like you can't learn something unless you can learn something on your own, but it is much easier to see other people's views and points and whatnot, because it can change your mindset and it can help you a lot. And sometimes other people have different opinions, and then after hearing their opinions, you start to think like, oh wait, maybe they're right, maybe like mine is like a little off. So with like a lot of research and like reading other people's like posts or whatever it comes to be, you can learn new things. Okay, the cause and effects. So basically, one example that I like to say is like, let's say I'm a journalist and I decided to share like an essay I wrote on like owls, and then someone decided to comment on my post saying, giving me new information like owls can spin their head all the way around like 360. That's something that I learned that's new, and that was the cause. The effect was I shared some information I knew about owls, and the cause was that someone gave me back information. So now I'm learning something new from being collaborative and looking for other people's opinions. There's a picture of it. Okay, need. So I think we need to be collaborative because in the end, every year going by, like we're learning something new. Our economy is like advancing a lot, especially with like technology. Like because we're being collaborative, we learned how to create technology and how to discuss things on social media. So information has come by, our world has advanced greatly from our new ideas growing over the years. So yeah, we learn new things, and in the future it can really benefit us sharing ideas, because then we can progress, learn new things, and create new things, and it'll be a lot easier. Here's just a picture of a computer and a book, and that is my PowerPoint.